Hello, Zoe, and thank you so much for agreeing to be part of my FAB member showcase interviews. It's lovely to have you here today. I've got a few questions that I'm going to ask you. I'm asking everybody the same questions to keep it fair. And we're recording this to upload to the FAB directory and for me to use snippets of around and about social media. So my first question is, how long have you been in business?
So I have been in business for 20 years. I qualified as a hypnotherapist 20 years ago. And from there, I've kind of just added to my education over the time that I've been working. So when I first qualified as a hypnotherapist, I was working for solicitors, and I was working on reception at solicitors, and I did all my study while I was there, which was awesome. And then I qualified, and within probably about a month and a half, I was able to go down to sort of 3 days work and use the other 2 days to see clients, which was really nice. And then I went to the States and I worked as a therapist there as well, and then came back and got a degree in psychology, and then more recently, got a degree in a master's degree in applied positive psychology and coaching psychology. So over that 20 years, I've kind of added to my education and sort of just grown my knowledge really. So different walks of life. I've worked with everyone really, from actors, producers, CEOs, cleaners, horse people, everyone really.
So what inspired you to start your business then? How did you end up getting into business?
So I went through therapy myself when I was 25 years old, and it really changed my life. Off the back of that, I traveled to America and worked on a dude ranch for 3 years. Sorry, that's my dog sneezing in the background. Yeah, so I went to the States and I worked on a dude ranch out there, and then I traveled.
What ranch?
A dude ranch. So a dude ranch is where tourists come. So it's not like a working cattle ranch or anything like that, although we did do cattle work and stuff like that while I was there. But it's where basically tourists come and they take a trail ride. So they come for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, overnight. They can go on an overnight ride if they want to. Yeah, so that's what I did. I led trail rides out. So I did that the first time in 2000, and then I went back in 2001 after my boss asked me how much money it would take to get me back, and basically wired $14,000 to my account to get me back the second year, which was really nice because I had a few debts to pay. And then in the third year I was there, I met my late husband. But I think if it hadn't been for the therapy, I would never have done those things. And so because therapy changed my life in such a dramatic way, I really wanted to be able to help other people experience that change and experience that sort of lifting confidence and that idea that they can actually achieve whatever they wanted to achieve and do whatever they wanted to do. So after the America thing, I came back to the UK and I studied as a hypnotherapist. Because that was the type of therapy that I'd had. And luckily, the guy who took me through my therapy had actually written a training course at that point and agreed to allow me to study that course.
Cool. So in terms of your business now then, what would you say is your favorite thing about your work?
My favorite thing about my work is always seeing the transformation in people. I have been very privileged because now I'm able to bring my passion for horses to my passion for helping people. And so what that does for me is it allows me to enjoy both sides of my life alongside each other. And seeing people transform, seeing the way people go from feeling like they don't really have any self-esteem, or they've lost confidence in themselves, or they've they're stuck. They're just stuck in a particular area of their life, whether that's their employment or whether it's a relationship or whether it's just sort of not really understanding or knowing where it is that they want to go. After just sort of a few sessions, really, my clients are able to kind of get some clarity, recognize their strengths, recognize the things that they're good at, recognize the successes they've already had, and then move forward in a really positive way.
So when you say a few sessions, what does a session entail? What are people doing with you?
So some people are doing equine facilitated learning and development rather. So we use the horses. Well, we don't use the horses. The horses are facilitators in the work. So we'll put someone with a horse in a safe environment, and that can be just grooming a horse and talking about the experience of that and how they're feeling. It can be leading a horse through obstacles. So the obstacles might represent something for them. Maybe it's a job application, or maybe it's a hurdle particularly that they want to get past. And so we'll maybe build some obstacles that they need to lead the horse through. And it's really interesting because if there's any hesitation in the person, the horse kind of goes, not really sure I want to do that. And so it's quite clear, it becomes quite clear, with the right questions, what's holding that person back, or what's preventing that person from moving through that obstacle in their life. And
so
then
are you talking about, are you asking them questions while they're working with the horse?
Yes. So if if the horse does something or doesn't do something, I might say to the client, how do you feel about that? Or does that feel like anything else that you've experienced currently, or you're experiencing currently, or you experienced in the past? Or when the horse moved that way, how did that feel? So you do need to have that kind of knowledge of horses, if you like, because you need to be able to recognize that behavior in the horse in order to feed it back to the client. And then I also do room-based stuff still. So those people that don't necessarily want to work with horses because they're a little bit afraid, or because they're a little bit intimidated by a big animal, which is understandable. I still do the hypnotherapy sessions, and I do life coaching sessions as well for people, sort of online or face-to-face.
Okay. So if that's your favourite thing about your work, then what's your least favourite thing about your role?
I really have to think about that because I love what I do. Admin. That's the least.
I was just about to say, I think people have asked so far, I've said admin.
Yeah, admin. Because I think people in my line of work, and probably yours too, Lisa, we love doing what we do, right?
Yeah.
We just want to be out there helping people, doing what we do. And having to sit in here and do admin.
You have to be a jack of all trades, don't you, with you?
Yeah, that's definitely my least favorite part of being a business owner, I think.
Yeah.
And having to do the social media marketing and stuff like that. I'm just not into it. I'd rather be outside. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and it's that point, isn't it, where it's kind of like, when you've been successful enough, you can then outsource it because you can afford to outsource it. But there's that painful time where you've got to do everything yourself, and it's like, is this never? And I think that's probably why a lot of people don't get past that first couple of years of being in business, because it's that slog at the beginning, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I was really lucky when I started my business 20 years ago, because there wasn't such a thing as social media. I just put an ad in the newspaper and people turned up, and then people came and people told other people about it. So then they came, and so on and so forth. And I am, with this new venture, obviously now because it's a not-for-profit as well, I want to obviously keep the costs down as much as possible. So I am doing everything. So it's challenging, but it will be worth it in the end.
Good luck with it. I'm sure it'll be absolutely wonderful. So what do you wish you knew then that you know now? when you first set up in business? What do you wish you sort of somebody had said to you? What would older Zoe say to younger Zoe?
I think have more faith in yourself, for sure. I think I had a lot of confidence back then, and the work came really easily to me. But because I left and then came back, I lost a bit of confidence. So right at the very beginning, I think it was quite easy for me. I was in a really lucky, privileged position because I trained with a really good organization, and I had, you know, at my own home. So, and it was easy to see clients at home. And it was a safe environment and all of those kinds of things. I think after I'd been to the States, and working with clients in the States was completely different to working with clients here. But so that was a really interesting thing to do. But I think after I came back from the States, I had a young child, and I think I just sort of lost a bit of confidence and a little bit of faith in my own ability. And that's obviously grown again over a period of time. But I think if I was going to go back and have a conversation with myself, it would have been sort of 18 years ago when my daughter was young, and I had lost that sort of level of confidence that I'd started with. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. So obviously you're a member of the FAB Business Club and have been right from pretty much when it started. So what inspired you to join the FAB Business Club?
You.
Just me.
It was you, because I knew that anything that you did or anything that you were organizing or you know, anything that you were a part of was going to be fun, and it was going to be successful, and was going to be inspiring, and it has been all of those things.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. So just as a bit of background then, Zoe, because obviously, you know, we worked together 2 or 3 years ago, didn't we, briefly?
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like a big gap.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm going, hey, I'm gonna create this network for women. Who wants to join me? And you just went, yeah, okay then. So there must have been more to, you know, obviously we'd met previously, we'd done a bit of work together, but there must have been something about what I was saying that made you sort of think, oh, that sort of sounds something I'd like to be part of.
Well, and I think it was the way that you presented it, the idea that it was much more about a support system, and much more about having that group of people around you that could support you and hold you up, you know, whereas and I belong to a couple of other networks, and sorry, my dog's talking to me.
Can't hear, it's fine.
Okay.
Dogs welcome. All dogs welcome.
Bless him.
Fortunately, you've not got my dog snoring at them. She's usually in the chair here snoring, so she's not here today.
I think it was definitely that idea of being part of a network where you could totally be yourself. You know, there was no having to, you know, I mean, we're all professional women. We all run our own businesses, but sometimes you want to just kind of let loose and tell people how you feel. And if you're having a shit day, you want to be able to say you're having a shit day. And there's not a lot of networking groups that I've been in where I felt comfortable enough to do that. And yours is the one really where I always feel comfortable enough to do that.
That's music to my ears, because obviously I set it up with that intention, you know, because there was something missing for me in other networking groups. They were all, you know, okay, nothing bad about any of them particularly, but there was just nowhere where I felt I could really properly, like, you know, I call it metaphorically flinging my bra off, you know, but it's that kind of thing. So it's music to my ears when I hear that from members saying that that's how they feel too, you know. So that is I do appreciate that. Thank you. So my next question was like, what's your favorite thing about the FAB Business Club? So is that a slightly different answer, or is that the same?
No, I think it's very similar. I think you've gathered such an amazing group of people together, and hopefully that will continue to grow, and we will continue to expand our community. But I think for me, that that whole idea that everyone in the group, I mean, there's a lot of coaches in our club,
Yeah, absolutely.
And some people would say, oh, why are you networking with a bunch of other coaches? Or, you know, you're not going to get any work from that. But it's not about that for me. It's about the fact that I can pull on the knowledge of those people, because we're all slightly different. We all do things in a slightly different way. We all have slightly different backgrounds. We all have slightly different education. We all come at it from a slightly different angle. And I think for me, that's where the beauty of it is. The beauty of it is not only do I know that these women support me and want me to succeed, and really, really want me to succeed. There's no lip service in it. They genuinely want me to succeed. But there's also a room full of knowledge. And I know that if I need to ask a question, I can maybe call Jenny or ask Taz or speak to Asha, you know, how would you handle this situation? Or thinking about doing this, what's your advice? And they would give it freely, because we're all part of a community of women that support women.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things for me, you know, if you think about the collective wisdom that's in the room, how many years of experience and different, you know, like you say, different areas of knowledge, and what's brought us all to, you know, where we're all at. It's absolutely immense when you think about it. It's quite mind-blowing. You know, and it is very much a genuine sort of, like you say, support, and people wanting everybody else to succeed. There's no ego. And I think that's just so special. I'm really so chuffed. It's exactly how I imagined, or how I wanted it to be. So I'm really, really chuffed about all of that. So thank you. And thank you for being a member and trusting me, and taking that leap of faith. So if people want to know more about your work, Zoe, and what you do and how you do it, and, you know, if you've sort of created a bit of curiosity around stuff, how do people get hold of you?
So you can follow me on LinkedIn, just under my name, Zoe Saari, or you can follow my new business page, which is Humanship UK. You can find me on Facebook in the same places. I have a page called You Are Awesome, and I have a page called Humanship UK. A lot of the You Are Awesome stuff is going to be sort of melded with the Humanship UK, because that's really where my passions are now. And I have a website, which is humanshipuk.org. So that should be going live. There is a page up already with some information on it. So, but the full website should be going live in the next week or so.
Excellent.
And then we have a launch event here at my home on the 30th of September, where we hope to just help people understand what it is that we do here. We're going to have some stalls for people to browse. The wonderful Emma Sheardown is coming to speak inspirationally about how horses have had a positive influence on her life. And we're just welcoming people to come and hear more about what we do, really.
Exciting times. So, well, I wish you all the luck with your launch, and thank you for your continued support with the FAB Business Club, as it's now called. But yeah, appreciate that. Thank you for your time today, and I shall stop the recording now, and see you in a minute.
You're more than welcome. Thanks, Lisa.
Bye.